So we are live. Woo! Super excited. And yeah, so super excited for today. Anybody who's catching this on the replay. So thinking about mindset and how it can really impact your business. So we're going to go on the preface of mindset is your frame of mind, which makes sense. It's mindset, your attitude, and your disposition. So your frame of mind, your attitude, your disposition, that's your mindset. And your mindset is developed through growing up. So influence through what part of the world you grew up in, influence through your culture, your ethnicity, your family culture, all that stuff. So I want to share with you a really cool framework today on mindset, and it's right from the floor of a volleyball court. It's a personal story tied into how it relates to online business and why having a coach in your online business, coaches, whichever you choose, as long as your coaches do not conflict with each other. So as long as their coaching aligns with your business mission, then it's not confusing. So I'm going to go back and forth between the volleyball court and an online business. All right. The volleyball court comes to you because my son this year decided that he wanted to play volleyball. Of course, he signs up. It's right through his school. He's in 7th grade, so that he's 12. So never played the sport before. He's played baseball. He loves basketball, but never played volleyball before. So he does have a natural ability with athleticism. He is generally pretty good, but most of all, he loves it. So signs up for volleyball. The first time he played volleyball was like an exhibition. So it gave the coaches a time to look at all the players and decide which teams they were going to be on, varsity or junior varsity. So relating that to you starting your business would be you looking at the program that you may think about possibly joining. What type of content are people putting out? How long has the program been around? What kinds of things are people achieving with it? Volleyball exhibition to online business. So in online business, you decide the product you want to go with based on the coaches, based on the product, based on the features basically of what they offer. Going back to volleyball, he plays really well at the exhibition, but the coaches decide to keep him on the backup team and not put him on the varsity team. Probably because it was his first year. I'm not really sure why, but either way, he's getting to play volleyball. So he was actually really frustrated about it and thought that he should have been on the other team because he is really good and was salty about it. So they played a few games. This is similar to you starting an online business. You're probably not salty about it, but turn salty into frustration. So you're watching the videos, you're reading Google Docs, you're watching people as they're smashing out sales, as they're growing their groups, as they're growing their engagement, like all this stuff. So you find yourself getting frustrated. You're not performing at a level that you think you should be performing at. So that's how that relates to volleyball. So every game, he's still my son. So we're going back to volleyball. He's still a little bit upset that he's not on the varsity team. And I said to him, you have one or two choices. You can continue to be very upset about it. You can continue to complain about it, or you can do what a lot of people do when they play sports is you can choose to be, no one's assigning it to you. You can assume the role of a captain on your team and you can help your other teammates out. You can point out to them what you think that they should be doing, where they should be standing, how to set up the volleys and all this stuff. And so he thought about it, and he has a very natural way of being a very good leader, even though he's only 12. Kids his age and adults actually, ironically enough, like really look up to him just because of how he composes himself. So there, the tie-in to that in online businesses, when you're starting your online business, once you get past that frustration stage of maybe even just being overwhelmed, you're learning so much, there's so much information, you're like, oh my God, like how can I possibly consume all this stuff? So just like volleyball, you take it one game at a time. Don't go and blast out 16 hours worth of videos. Take it 35 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Consume the stuff and then go and practice and put into play what you're learning in your online business. Similar to being on the volleyball court. You go to practice, you learn techniques, you hone in your techniques, you bring them to the game, and you play better. You play better as an individual, you play better as a team. So my son being captain, adopted captain status essentially of his peers and stuff, every game they started to perform better. Now he's not the type of athlete that goes boasting when he does well. Like he has really really great sportsmanship. So when you're looking for online coaches and you're building an online business, you want a coach that is creating content that is putting the spotlight on people and what they're doing and how they're using the information. They're following the tools, they're following the techniques, they're putting them into play, they're showing up, and they're succeeding. It's not all about the end thing, but your coaches should be showcasing, like, yay, look at Annette, she did this. Look at Katie, she did this. Look at Colleen, she did this. Look at Joe, he did this. You want coaches that are going to be your cheerleaders in the public as well as in private, back in your private coaching groups, whether it's a coaching chat or a coaching Zoom call or whatever. So similar to my son's volleyball. So this is volleyball and online business and how they're intersecting. And so they play better each time. My son continues, I bought him a net. He plays out in the yard. He's practicing, and he's watching YouTube videos. He's watching the professionals. Like, he's practicing the techniques. Like, he's really into being the best that he can be so that he can bring it back to his team and he can guide them and he can give them pointers on how they all can play together better as a team. So not only is this 12-year-old able to give each individual player on the team feedback, positions, strategies, all that stuff. Like, they're really coming together as a team. Now, this is just like what you're going to do in your online business. You're going to consume the material. You're going to pass it on to your audience. You're going to show up confidently that you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about because you're doing what it is that you're talking about. So each and every time you create a piece of content, you get on and do a live training. You get in your group, you do a live training. You're going to be better and better each time. You're going to feel more and more confident. Just like I'm watching his teammates, he has a team of 8. Just like I'm watching all 8 of them every single game. They're showing up with confidence. They're getting on that court. The frustration is real. It's all about baby steps. Absolutely. Absolutely. Whenever you're learning anything new or things are not going as you planned for them to hit and people are just not picking up what you're laying down, so to speak, it definitely can be frustrating. But if you focus on the process and you focus on improving your individual techniques, then it's not going to be smooth. It's not a flat surface. It's not going to be smooth. It's going to be like a river that flows upstream. So you're going to have rocks, you're going to have bumpy water, you're going to have some rapids, and then you're going to have some smooth sailing. That's online business. You're not going to smash it out of the park every single day. Just like a major league player is not freaking hitting a home run every time they're at bat. They strike out too. So you're going back to the volleyball, going back to the online business. So this past Wednesday, they played a game. All 6 players that were on the court, there was 1 substitute. Now, there's several players that have been improving every single time on their serve. They've been working on it. They've been working on their technique. They've been working on their power. That's going to be just like people that are in your community that are consuming your videos. They're going to be giving you feedback. You're going to like great advice or great example or that helped me realize something different. I hadn't thought about it in that way before. So you're going to keep showing up for your team, which is your audience. So Wednesday night's game, the energy that was on that court was unbelievable. The first period, my son's team crushed it. They won the first period by many points, so they were super excited. The other team came back fierce and strong. They wiped the floor with them the second period. They won by a lot of points. So that's very similar to how the ebbs and flows in your online business are going to go. You're going to have days. You may have a day where you close 3 high ticket sales and you just made, I don't know, it depends on the product that you're promoting. You just cleared, I don't know, maybe you just did $3,000 in sales if you're at 50% commissions. You just put $1,500 in your pocket in one day. But you may not close another sale for 2 more weeks, 2 more days, 2 more hours. You don't know because you have no control over the outcome. Just like when you're playing a sports game, you have no control over who wins. All you can do is play your best. So as you're building your online business, you show up for yourself, you be the best for yourself. You show up, you consume the content, you work on creating better and better content each and every time you put content out, each and every time you show up and do a live, each and every time you create short form video, whatever, however it is that you're conducting your business, you show up better and better each time. So in volleyball, there's 2 periods. If there's a tie, they go into a 3rd period. Whoever wins the 3rd period wins the game. The other team is crushing my son's team. They're ahead like 7 points, I think, at one point. So the serve goes back to my son's team. The server gets up there and closes the gap. So now they're 9-13, and whoever gets to 15 first in the 3rd period wins the game. The other other team only needs 2 points to win. And no, they needed 3 points. So the serve goes back to the other team. They score a point, my son, and then my son's team gets the ball back. So my son gets up. He's the next server. They're behind 3 points. They need 5 points to win. So you're going to prepare if going live or creating a training video or creating a short form video on any sort of the platforms is really anxiety provoking for you. Your heart starts racing. You got all these beliefs coming in. What if I sound stupid? What if I make a mistake? What if this? What if that? We can come up with 40 million things that could possibly go wrong. What if everything goes? What if you deliver all the information you want to deliver? People learn something from it. People go back and watch it again. People say, hey, great job. Hey, that helped me. I just found a shift. I'm going to go apply that. What if all that happens? Who cares if you stumble across your words? Who cares if you have to pause? Who cares if you have to take a second to maybe look at your notes so that you stay on task? Who cares about all that? Nobody does. At the end of the day, nobody does. There's no such thing as perfect. There is a such thing as doing your best. Even if your best doesn't deliver the way that you wanted it, look at that. Why didn't it hit to your best? Why didn't it hit to your liking? Were you tired? So were you not excited about what you were sharing? Were you not using different tonalities? Were you not using your hands like I tend to do? And I'm not Italian. Were you not using your humor? Were you not showing up as you? That's the bottom line. If you're not showing up as you, it's not going to hit the way that you want it to hit. And showing up as you, it might be a little today. Maybe you're not feeling 100%. I'm actually not feeling 100% today. I did something to my back, and sitting here, I'm in a significant amount of pain. But you know what? I'm forgetting all of that so I can deliver this to you guys today, because I think that this is a huge message to deliver. And I like how real life intersects with online life and real life intersects with online business, because it all freaking makes sense. And everywhere I go, I look at it in a business lens. Right now, I'm not quite sure. Yeah. I see everything as content. I see everything and how I can apply it to my lives, how I can apply it to my written content, how I can apply it to my short form videos, how I can apply it to my conversations. So getting back to volleyball and getting back to lessons from the volleyball court. Score is 9 to 13. Sorry, 9 to 13. They're ahead by 4 points. The other team needs 2 points to win. So my son gets up to serve, and he gets up, he takes his time, he takes a few breaths, he lines himself upright on when he serves. If he's too far over to the right, his ball shoots off to the right and it shoots out of bounds, and the other team gets a point. So he goes up, steps up to the line. You never would have known that he wasn't confident. He was feeling confident, but he felt the pressure. Steps up to the line, boom, serve, right into the pocket, point for them. So he closes in the points. So now they're 13 to 13. 2 points, and either team wins this. His next serve, he can't lose, because he loses it to the other team and potentially loses the game. He takes his time, gets up to the line, hits the serve, goes over, right into the pocket, 14 to 13. He's one serve away, 1 point away from winning the game. Now, when you're building an online business, it's not like on the edge of your seat like that, because tomorrow's another day. You're really actually not even competing with anybody. All you're doing is looking at your process, looking at your technique, looking at your strategy, honing in on that, and working towards improving that. Hate the word perfection. There's no such thing as perfect, in my opinion. Other people might disagree, but in my opinion, there's no such thing as perfect. And if you want to keep that word perfect or perfection in your vocabulary, I think it's a lot of false sense of pressure, and it's not helpful. So 13 to 13. So let's go back into the business world. You are having a great conversation with someone. You're building an online business, how you're conversing people, how you're having conversations, how you're getting your product in front of them. Let's go back to online business. So you're up to the line. You've had a great conversation with someone. You've answered their questions. They like the way that you are responding. You're building some trust. They've consumed your content. They've gone over on TikTok. They've seen how long you've been doing this. They've seen how many videos, whatever social media platform you're using, right? If you're using Facebook organic, they're going and they're checking your profile, they can't check your group unless they're part of your group. Maybe you've invited them to be part of your group. So they're in your group, they're consuming your guides, they're looking at your trainings, they're looking at all that stuff. They're looking at all your content, they're looking at people's comments, like they're consuming everything. So now you've had a great conversation and you think like, all right, this is going pretty good. Like all these touch points are things that are going to help this person in their business. I, as the person who's helping them, I have a clear understanding as to what their goal is. I have a clear understanding as what products I have to offer that are going to help them. And I know those products can help them because I'm using them myself and I'm achieving success, whatever that success is at the time. So you're feeling super pumped about this, super pumped about this conversation, but you're still standing at the line. They haven't asked for the offer. They haven't asked for the sales link. They haven't asked for any of that stuff. They know the product. They know what it can do. They know what it's doing for you. They've seen the community results. So similar to the volleyball game, they know they can beat this other team through using solid techniques because they did it in the first period. But the whole game is on the line. In your online business, the whole game is up to you. You don't even have teammates. You may have an accountability group. You may have coaches that you can talk to for support and stuff like that. But ultimately, it all falls on you and your technique, your strategy. So Monday night, my son gets up to the line. It's now 14-13. My son's team has 14. The other team has 13. 15, first to 15 wins in the third period of volleyball. I'm not sure if that's all level wide, but the level of playing that my son does, it's they need to win the first to 15 wins in the third period. So he gets up to the line, takes his time, builds his confidence, takes a few breaths, walks up to the line, fixes his footing, watches the line in front of him so he doesn't go over because that's an automatic point for the other team. He gets up, serves the ball, and it's going. It lands, I kid you not, it lands on the net and it rolls on the net. Now that ball can go either way. It could fall back on their side, which gives the other team a point, which locks them 14-14. Or it could fall on the other side and they could win the game. So that's where you're at after having amazing conversation, switching back to online business now. So that's where you're at after having amazing conversation with this person for however long, a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is. Get in there quick. Don't waste everyone's time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste theirs. Get in and at it. When it gets to that point, obviously you want to build a relationship with them and stuff and build some trust. But so the ball is on the net and it tips over onto the other side and it goes right to the floor. My son's team won the game. The crowd goes nuts. I go nuts. I'm jumping out of my seat. The team is going crazy. The coaches are going crazy because watching, so just like your online business, from the time that you take out your payment and you spend money and you invest in yourself and you buy that product, just like the very first game that my son played for volleyball, they'd never played together. They were brand new players. They didn't have many techniques. They knew they needed to hit the ball over the net. It's about all they knew. So just like you buying your business, you take out your card, you make that payment, and then you're like standing, like at the line. Am I going to get it over? Is this piece of content going to hit? Is it going to be something that's going to resonate with someone? Are people going to like it? Are they going to find it valuable? All those questions you ask yourself when you're building an online business. You already know that once you get to the point where you're in a conversation with someone and you know the direction that that they want to take their business in, you already know if your product can help them or not. So if your product can't help them, that takes the pressure off. You're like what I have to offer, I don't think is really going to align with your business vision, but maybe you know someone else in the space that offers a different product. You can hand them off to them. So just like that very first volleyball game, when they were meeting each other for the first time as a team and didn't have too many techniques, didn't have too many strategies, to this game, they've only been playing 3 weeks. I think they play like 3 games a week. So they've played a lot of games. The people that, even the game before, the people that were not able to get that ball over the net were getting the ball over the net. So here's the biggest takeaway and the biggest lesson from this whole entire live on mindset. When my son started volleyball, he got put on the backup team. He wasn't happy about it. He could have continued to have a fixed mindset and been salty about it and complained and not played his best and let himself down and let his team down. He chose not to. He chose to have a growth mindset. He chose to get on YouTube, watch professional players, get out in the yard, pick up that volleyball, play with his sister. Unfortunately, I can't play volleyball. The overhand thing messes up my neck. He has chosen every single day to improve himself. So that's what you're going to do in an online business. You are going to show up for yourself every single day. You're going to do something. Now I take about 2.5, usually I take Fridays off. I'm not off today because we went a little bit too long on my coaching call yesterday and I couldn't do the lives, and I love doing these. I love doing these. So I didn't want to miss it this week. I will be missing it next week as I will be on vacation, so I will not be available or around most of next week, which I'm excited about, but I'm going to come back even fiercer. You guys better watch it. I'm going to have some good stuff for you. So looking forward to creating content. I'll be down in Florida. I'll be in the Boston area. I live in Massachusetts, so Boston's no big deal, but I'll be in the Florida area. So the biggest lesson learned from my son's volleyball game is, I hope, and the biggest point that people take away from today is, just because you start something and you don't know much about it doesn't mean that you can't very quickly start showing up as an authority in what it is that you're delivering to your audience. Now, an authority with what you're delivering does not mean you're going to represent yourself falsely. It doesn't mean that you're going to come in there and be like, oh, look at me, I'm so successful. I've been doing this for 2 minutes. You're not going to coming off as an authority does not mean coming off arrogantly. It doesn't mean coming off speaking like you are someone who has been doing this for years. So biggest takeaway, I feel like I keep getting sidetracked. As you are starting your online business, show up in the place that you are now. If you've only been doing it 3 weeks, share what you've learned. Be honest with the people. Be honest with the people. Be honest in your content. That will keep you genuine. That will build you in a authentic personal brand that builds trust when you're speaking to people very quickly. Going back to the lesson learned from the volleyball court to online business. Choose to have a growth mindset and you will progress, you will get better, and you will grow. Just like we saw my son and his team grow. His teammates look to him on that court for feedback, for cheering, for validation. And you know what? Not just because he's my son, he does a great job at highlighting his teammates more than he does highlighting his achievements. So just like I talked about in the beginning, when you work with a coach, you want, in my opinion, you want to work with a coach that is highlighting the people they're working with, their successes, their achievements. And it's not all about the money. It's really actually not about the money.